Hello there, Brock. How you getting on?
Well, very good evening on Saturday the 10th of June 23. There'll be a lot of background noise with the roads and stuff, but I'm just giving you a short garden wittering. Number 11, isn't it? I put up fresh stakes for these daisies. I'll tie them in tomorrow. There's definitely a change of weather on the go. Not because I've consulted the Met Office at all, but the rooks and crows are back up at the Scots Pine. They come back early. They'll be there overnight, maybe a couple of nights. So they obviously want to be close to the shelter. There's a female blackbird just shot by. Anyway, been busy. I've cut back this whole section because it was getting a bit very untidy. Everything's bone dried. I put in, well, these are dianthus. These are my miniature carnations, African daisies. I've got several, very beautiful, and I like the colour variation there. It comes up all right. Of course, the scented nemesias, highly scented actually, very pleasant. And this, I can't remember the name of this one, but it is a perennial, likewise. And can't remember this one either. It comes out a golden yellow. I've got the calendulas there. Common marigold, because lots of people had these in their gardens back in the well, I remember in the 60s anyway, in the 70s. There wasn't much choice in flowers, to be honest. People couldn't really afford things even then. Lost the spell on them. This is I planted this into this. I was going to buy a new container trough, but I decided just to keep this one, and so planted that in there, put in some asters and stuff there, so that's all been well watered. And just quickly I put in the other asters into the ground along here, so everything's in case we do get some thundery weather. I'll get a good drink and all the stakes are in. I'll do all the tying up, probably do that on Monday. What I've decided to do is I'm going to zip down to low vibrational Aldi store, and I want to get some ice cream. I fancy some ice cream. I might have went to the Co-op, but I've got a feeling the Co-op will charge about £40 for a tub of ice cream, so I think I'll go to Aldi's and see what they've got. I'm not terribly well dressed, but I don't really care. I'm just the way I am. But I'll zip down and I'll get some ice cream and a tin of fruit. Perhaps peaches or something of that nature. I don't know. I'll decide when I get there. But that's my very short garden wittering from the Saturday the 10th of June. I've got stuff. I was at Newcastle today, so I've got a lot to load. I've got a lot to put up on my YouTube channel. I'm getting through the backlog, and I brought some of the parsley through here. But I must go because I think my camera is out of film now. Thank you. Well, a very good afternoon on the 11th day of June 23. I'm pointing my camera at the nasturtiums. Well, I thought last night very stingy wittering wasn't sufficient for viewing. Well, I'm going to load it, but I'm going to give this bonus track from today. But these are the nasturtiums I planted a few weeks back, so they're quite happy coming away, and I'll transplant them this week into individual pots, and then we'll get them out into the troughs The calendulas are taking a little while, but not to worry because they're not for this season. They'll be planted up into pots, and then in the autumn I'll plant them out over winter. They're hard enough to survive the winter, most of them, and that will give an early show next May or June time. See, I put some parsley through to the front as I mentioned, and I've still got some work to do in the back area here. As you can appreciate, been very busy, and I've been spent an hour or something this morning OCDing my bathroom and stuff like that, and keeping the house tidy. The bees have been extremely busy in here, and I've had a blue-tit at that box today, popping its head in and settling inside. I'm not sure if they're looking for winter quarters, or indeed they're looking for a late season nesting site. There's also one at the front box. I noticed last night. I disturbed it when I came out wandering from a late evening cigarette. I don't like doing that to the birds, but it was up in my box up here, sitting sheltering. I'm not going to repeat too much, but the heavy rains of overnight have obviously bent a few of my plants a little, but that is the weight of the water, nothing else. They'll soon prop up again, but just in case we get any wind at all, not a breeze but a wind, I need to get all these stakes and all these plants properly tied. So it is time consuming, but it needs to be done, otherwise they all fall flat and they look absolutely unsightly, as they did last summer. Unfortunately, the whole place was a disaster, but that was due to circumstances in many respects out with my control. I was pleasantly surprised. You might not believe this, but you may have seen it on the earlier footage. This is a gift from the fairies. I'd noticed it, but I had a little closer inspection. I thought, that's exactly the same plant I found in the riverbank, and that's not been here before. Most of these plants in here are relatively undisturbed for the last 8 or 9 years, so this little gem has just popped up in flower. And I can only imagine that the fairies were so delighted with my commentary about the Hesperus, or Dame's Violet as it's called, that they decided that, well, let's bring some to Andrew's garden and get it blooming for his enjoyment. So I'm delighted. Thank you, fairies. There's another one. See? That's not been there before. I haven't spent much time in the garden this week until actually late yesterday. I mean, I'm so busy. And I was touring at Marie Castle yesterday, and I'd also popped out on Friday, but I'll add that to the story. This is a wonderful, I don't know the name of this plant, sorry. I should do, but it comes up annually. It's truly marvellous in the autumn. It's such a wonderful colour. That's the back geraniums are doing very well. A lot of the plants are short-lived, of course. They don't spend a lot of time in bloom, but it's a real haven for flowers in my garden, I have to tell you. I've got at the back there knapweed. I put that knapweed there because the bees absolutely adore it, and so do the butterflies. In fact, all the flowers in my garden are a real treat for the bumblebees and wasps. Well, not so much the wasps, but the wasps do come down. But certainly the butterflies and the bees, especially with the sedum. So I'm going to just top up these troughs a little more. My mint, my fresh mint, is doing very well in this pot. I've got lots of other mint in the garden at the other side of the border, but And this is a little pink geranium. It's coming into bud for bloom now. Everything's been a wee bit slow. Just because we've had some decent weather lately, it doesn't mean the plants have enjoyed it. It's been lack of rain, and we didn't have enough lot of sunshine. Remember, there's a lot of cloudy days despite higher temperatures, but it's been very cold at night. This been a long cold spring. I kind of forecast that, and also the fact that the it's been such a late spring, and it's not been very good for plants all round, but they love the sunshine, and so they're all coming together, especially these ones here that are all doing very well. Can I just show you how lovely that looks when I walk up the pathway? The only person that's disturbed by such a collection would be the postman, but as you can see, the letterbox is not that far to reach. And if anyone comes chapping at my door, I'll just say, give me a second please, I've just come out and I'll rearrange a couple of plants so you can step through without falling and breaking your neck. And, so everything's looking well, and I'm going to finish off a couple of chores. Oh yes, this tarragon is, it didn't like the windowsill, so it was sprouting quite quickly towards the light, but unfortunately it's sprouted just a bit too quickly. So I need to perhaps snip that back and give it some bushiness at the bottom, and that applies also to sage. It did not like being in the shade. I'm sorry, Mrs. Sage, I'm really sorry about this. And these are these calendras all coming into bloom. There's only 3 here, so I'm going to get some further, well, this will be from the nasturtiums of course, but look at all the buds that are coming out. So these are going to be fabulous plants after all. So there we go, and that's that little rockery plant, alpine plant. It absolutely loves this corner, and look how happy that yellow is. So that's it. This is the major corner now. This will be what I'll be doing when I get some time, is taking all this away, and I'll get a new half whiskey barrel and get that organised, and we'll put in some spring plants, bulbs, and we'll put in some autumn flowering pansies and stuff, you see. But that's me, excuse me, that's me for now. I'll spend tomorrow perhaps tying up all these stakes and making sure the plants are rigid and not get flapped about in the wind, you see. So thanks for listening to me again, I do appreciate it.